what's interesting is you just said you started your buds class in the spring of 2001, which means that 9/11 is what, 6 months away from happening, 5 months away from happening, maybe right around that time window.
Yeah.
So are you out of buds by the time 9/11 happens, or were you still in training? And can you take the viewers kind of where you were on 9/11 and how much confusion was there and things of that nature?
Yeah. So I was in third phase. We only had a few weeks left of training, or excuse me, of buds, before we went on to SEAL qualification training, SQT. We were actually doing PT in the morning. It was, shoot, what was it, like 6? I don't know the exact times the towers came down, but we were right in the middle doing, push-ups and sit-ups and flubber kicks. And one of the instructors came outside from their area. They just said, "Hey, planes just hit the World Trade Center, and the World Trade Center came down." And we immediately thought it was just another joke that the instructors were pulling on us. We didn't believe it was real. We kind of looked at each other and said, "Why are they still messing with our heads? We're about to graduate in a couple of weeks." But they actually marched us inside, and we watched. We saw it on the news, and it was pretty. It was pretty humbling. We didn't know at the time really what was going to go on. I mean, we were young. You had guys that were 17 years old. I was 23 at the time. We had a few older than that, but let's just say everyone was right around 20, 21 years old. So we really didn't know what was going to happen, but the instructors I said this in other interviews and the podcasts and things, that the look on the instructors' faces it was something, it was scary. They were, they knew exactly what was going to happen. They knew that, they had served prior to 9/11. There wasn't a lot going on in all the forces. There was work in Bosnia, but only a few platoons were able to go overseas and actually be involved in any real world operations, and if there was any combat. So there wasn't a whole lot of experience at the time, but you can see the look on their faces that they knew that the SEAL teams were going to go to war. And I just remember the expression and kind of the whole demeanor completely changed. And so for us, went from running around, getting in shape, and having fun to, wow, this is real, and we're going to go do something real.
I love kind of what you talked about, the instructors there. I interviewed a guy probably a year and a half ago by the name of Bill Rapier, who served on DevGru for a considerable amount of time. And he told me when 9/11 happened, at that point in time, like you said, the 90s, you had Bosnia, there were 4 SEALs in Black Hawk Down, the Gulf War, but it wasn't anything like we saw in the War on Terror. So everyone kind of thought, oh, we'll train for 20 years. Maybe we get one mission. We'll talk about that mission forever, and that'll kind of be our legacy. And Bill Rapier was like, we had no idea that we were about to be at war for 20 plus years. I mean, he said they had no idea. And on that, so now it's happened. How long does it take you to get deployed for the first time, and where is that to?
Yeah, you mentioned Bill. I don't know if Bill knows me. He was in the teams for a while when I got over there, and someone I looked up to, and someone who had just a stellar reputation of doing everything right. And happy to hear that he was on this show. I haven't heard that name in a long time. So,